Oh, all right. We're doing it. Move this in a little bit. Adjust this a little bit. There we go. Hey, folks. It's Patreon stream time. I'm going to go ahead and get the stream pulled up here on my phone so that I can go ahead and keep up with the chat. And there it is. All right. Okay, keep up with the chat. I'm going to open my water, and we're going to play some games on the Ultimate Dreamcast. So as you can see, this is the GD menu, which is a utility for the GDMU, which, if you don't know, if you didn't watch my live mod last week, the GDMU is an SD card reader that goes into the Dreamcast. It's an optical drive emulator. It replaces the CD drive. So the CD drive is actually sitting in a cabinet over here, and in the Dreamcast is an SD card reader, and a 128 gig SD card. That is that's doing the thing, that's running the thing. So you can see here, the first thing I did was I put all the games I own on there. Some of these games are not games that I own, and like this is a sort of a bootleg thing that somebody assembled several Capcom fighting games into one disc image. I actually have the original Capcom versus SNK, not the Pro version. But I didn't just want to like grab a whole like string of games. Like I didn't just want to get like 300 games, a bunch of which are, I would never play, so I was a little more picky. So like the thing that I haven't figured out, some of the games have disc images or cover art and some don't, and I haven't figured out a way to, for the ones that don't, to like inject it. So like, see, Capcom vs SNK 2 doesn't, the Capcom vs SNK Pro does. But so I got a bunch of games. I put out I asked in the original post announcing the stream, what people wanted to see, and nobody suggested or requested anything. So I got 44 games on here, and we're just gonna mess around. I really wanted to play Street Fighter 03 Upper, which is the like later revision of Street Fighter Alpha 3, but that disc image won't load for some reason. And then I found a fan translation of Code Veronica X, which some people don't realize. Code Veronica X wasn't just a PS2 game. There actually was a Dreamcast version of Code Veronica X that came out. So, and I've got regular Code Veronica. I've got the see, this is a weird one too. Resident Evil 2 disc 1 has disc image for Leon's disc, but not for Claire's disc. So I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, we're gonna play some stuff. Snarkcast Production says a lot of good choices. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of it is just like stuff that I had. And there's a couple things. There's one thing, like I have Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2. The disc image is upside down. That's super weird. I have Giant Graham 2000 as well on disc, and I haven't been able to find a disc image of it, and I'm not set up to rip my own right now, so that's kind of a bummer. But I have two versions of NFL Blitz because there's there's a later version for some reason. I don't really know. You know, let's start with Power Stone. I haven't played Power Stone in a minute. Snarkcast has never played Giant Graham, only AJPW featuring Virtua on the Saturn. That's a fine game. I think Giant Graham and Giant Graham 2000 are better than AJPW featuring Virtua. But yeah, let's start with some Power Stone. Let's actually let's play some games. So, unless this disk image won't load either. Oh, there we go. That's a little loud. I don't want to echo through the... so what you are seeing is the retrogamingcables.co.uk SCART cable, which taps into the VGA signal. So I don't need a VGA converter box because there's a transformer of some sort. I don't know that I'm not sure of the technical ins and outs inside the cable that taps into the VGA signal, and there's a switch on the back of the cable for games that are not VGA compatible that you just flip the switch and it changes to the standard output for the few games that are VGA compatible. The GD menu has a thing where you can force VGA, but it doesn't work on all games. Like King of Fighters Dream Match 99, you just get a black screen and you hear the sound. And then that's running into the G-SCART switch, which I am really stoked about because it makes switching systems much easier. If you watch the Contra charity marathon on Saturday, I use the G-SCART switch quite a bit because changing from system to system no longer requires me to like change things and hook things up. My streaming setup is a lot better. My capture setup is a lot better than it was when I lived in DC, just because this space is so much bigger and I can have basically everything hooked up at once. So going from the Dreamcast to the G-SCART, and then G-SCART goes into the FrameMeister, and the FrameMeister goes into the capture card. So what you're seeing is basically direct capture of what that retrogamingcables.co.uk SCART cable looks like, and it just looks so good. I'm so pleased with it. I think I finally really understand. I had seen people talk for so long about, oh, you know, the Dreamcast VGA signal, you don't even realize. And I was like, yeah, right, how good could it be? It's good. These games look really good. What I need right now, more than anything, is a better controller, because the standard Dreamcast controller is just adequate, is the word I would use for it. And this D-pad, like, it looks like a regular cross pad like you see on most Nintendo controllers, so you'd think it would be comfortable, but it just isn't. This game uses the analog stick because you've got full 3D movement, so the analog stick is generally the way to go here. But I backed the Kickstarter from Retro Fighters for a oh no, he's gonna get it. Oh no. I'm trying to remember how this game controls, and I'm not having a lot of luck. Yikes, I forgot how to play this game completely. But yeah, I backed the Retro Fighters, you know, sort of new and improved Dreamcast controller that they had put a Kickstarter up for, because I have their N64 controller and I really like it. I really like their N64 controller, and so I'm hoping their Dreamcast controller looks like it's gonna do the job, because this controller is just awful. There we go. Yikes. Not good. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. I like this game a lot because it's unique among fighting games. Like Air Guys kind of plays like this, but Power Stone I think is a better game than Air Guys. And then the second one is cool because it's this, but it's 4 players. So, yeah, I dig it. I was like, this is one of the first Dreamcast games I got. It's actually, playing this game reminds me of, I had a friend in high school who lived about a block over from me, and like, after the Dreamcast came out, so I was a sophomore in high school, junior in high school, I was a junior in high school when the Dreamcast came out, and, my friend and I would like get a couple of games of Power Stone in, like, before we went to school. You know, or Soul Calibur or whatever. What? That's ridiculous. Like, they're not rounds, they're challenges. Oh no. Oh yeah. There we go. Now that's what I call a hurricane kick, am I right? vicious Hurricane Rana. Oh, come on. Knew that was coming. Snarkcast says, when the Dreamcast launched, a couple friends and I did a BYOD and TV launch party where we had all the games. I ended up bringing Sonic Adventure, NFL 2K, and Soul Calibur. Yeah, we're going to play some Soul Calibur this afternoon, for sure. Man, NFL 2K. Remember when people besides Madden, or besides EA, got to make... NFL games? What? Oh yeah. I forgot about this super move until she hit me with one. But yeah, when you have the Power Stone. Yikes. There we go. That's more like it. Yeah, I never much cared for Sonic Adventure. I know that some people say that was like, that's the good 3D Sonic game, or that's the last good Sonic game, or whatever. I just apparently think there are no good 3D Sonic games. Uh-oh. Not good. No bueno. What? Got her. There we go. Snarkcast says, I kind of have to agree on Sonic Adventure. I kind of like 2 more, except those darn Knuckles stages. I don't think there's a 3D Sonic game that I actually like. Yeah, I don't think there is one. I think 2D Sonic is where it's at. I like Sonic Mania quite a bit. I guess the 2D stage or the 3D stages in that were fine. That's bogus. Like, okay. The third Power Stone just appeared on top of him. Like, that was... It's really interesting to see the systems, the sort of more offbeat systems that Capcom has supported. Like, I don't know. You know, like, not just the Dreamcast, but like really offbeat stuff. You know, like the PSP, right? Like this game, you know, was not only on the Dreamcast. There's a version, a collection. For the PSP that has both games on it, and that version is, maybe except for the fact that it runs at a lower resolution because PSP, it's almost better because it has you can unlock characters from the second game to be playable in the first game, which is pretty cool. Oh, the third Power Stone's on the roof. What? I didn't imagine that, right? I did just like whip a bomb at him and it did like explode on his face. And he just didn't take any damage, right? Like, what? Now you're hosed, buddy. Also, you might hear my air conditioning, but normally you would hear the Dreamcast fan, but part of rebuilding this Dreamcast is I put a new power supply so it runs cooler and a new fan, also so it runs cooler and quieter in it. Basically all the guts of this Dreamcast are, no part of it is stock anymore except for the actual main board and processor and everything. Yikes. Oh, yeah. The Power Stones are sort of overpowered in this game. I mean, that's kind of the point, I guess, but... Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Yeah, knew that wasn't going to go my way once he got that third Power Stone. Oh, come on. There we go. And sometimes you just focus too much on getting the Power Stones and you get beat normally. Ah, didn't time that quite right. There we go. Excuse me. Smacked her with a post. There you go. That's how we do. Oh no. seriously. Snarkast says put him on the All-Star team, just don't replace Josh Bell. I voted for Bell to get the start at first. Moose to get the start at second, and well, Grandal to get the start at catcher, Moose to get the start at second, and of course Yelich to get one of the outfield starts, which Yelich is going to get one of the... Unless the people voting for the... I mean, the idea that Yelich wouldn't start in the outfield is just complete madness. There it is. Alright, we're on the bosses now, I think. Oh, nope, not yet. I guess the bosses. There are two bosses, if I remember correctly. It's been a minute since I have played through Power Stone. This was sort of the last generation where you could get away with just porting an arcade game, right? Because, I mean, that's really all this is. You can, if memory serves, you can unlock the... No, not good. You can unlock the boss characters, but that's really the only sort of post-game thing. And, I mean, now... That? Okay. I guess with fighting games you still can do... I mean, Samurai Showdown just came out, and that's effectively just an arcade game, I suppose. But there was not an appetite for... Get out of here. So maybe something like this would work now, again. You'd have to have a lot more characters, I think. But there are a lot of like shoot 'em ups that are just like straight arcade conversions. Oh, buddy. Victory. Got him. Oh, there's only one boss. I thought there were two bosses in this game. Maybe there is another, just Kraken, and I thought there was another one, but maybe I'm thinking Power Stone 2. No, he's a ghost pirate. Oh, okay. Snarkcast says he voted for Mustakas and Yelich as well. As you should. Can I get a hit in? Like... What? Oh, we didn't come this far to not finish the game. What? Okay. So I don't know, because it's downscaled for the stream. The stream is only 720p, but... So I don't know if you can tell how good this game looks. I mean, I feel like it probably reads to a certain extent, but this... It's just really... But even the 3D games on the system look as good as they do. I was in the middle of hitting him. Okay. What? Oh, okay. So we just grapple back and forth and then his just gets to land. Unbelievable. And of course, he just gets a free attack. I was standing where the thing was spawning. That's ridiculous. And then he wins on a time limit. His throw just takes priority. Love his automatically landing throws. Are you serious? Perfidious Leaf says, how did you mod your Dreamcast? So there is a video from last week on the channel, but it was a live stream from like last Thursday afternoon, that sort of takes you through it. But I replaced the stock power supply with a new power supply. I replaced the fan with a new fan, and I replaced the optical drive with an SD card reader. What? His ridiculous throw just takes priority over my super move. That's reasonable. Okay. Perfidious Leaf says, what are the differences now? It has a new fan and a new power supply and a SD card reader in it. I'm not really sure how to answer that. Get roasted, son. Perfect. There you go. That's revenge. How can his throw even, like, that's so ridiculous. Of course he transformed this moment before I would have kicked one of the stones out of him. Of course he does. Perfidious Thief says, what are your favorite covers for video games? The Salamander box art is like my favorite box art of all time. I really like a lot of the Tom Dubois art for the old Konami games, like Super C and Castlevania 3, Super Castlevania 4. Oh, it's up there. What? Why is it not? Oh my god. Oh, and of course. I land 3 combos on him, it doesn't knock a stone out of him, he lands 1 on me, knocks a stone right out of me. There we go. Really? everything he does just takes priority over everything that the player does, like to the point where it's ridiculous. Perfidious Leaf says, for a game series that's a blatant also-ran to the Gradius franchise, everyone seems to love that Salamander Life Force cover. Well, I mean, Life Force is better than like 90% of the games in the Gradius series, so I don't really know that it's an also-ran. Also, I mean, also it's arguable that it's part of the same series. I mean, you're still playing as the Vic Viper. But yeah, I mean, Salamander's got better cover art. It's really just a better game, in my opinion, than certainly the original Gradius. And definitely Gradius 4. That is so lame. Okay, apparently weapon shots will knock 2 stones out of you. Don't think I realized that. Wow, convenient that the 3rd stone just spawned on top of him right as he was about to otherwise be knocked out. That's reasonable. Get wrecked, son. Seriously. How is he still... Okay, there we go. Man. Alright. Perfidious Leaf says, I guess it's pretty debatable. The title gives the sense that they're their own thing, sort of like Parodius. As for the quality, I agree, it's great, but I still prefer Gradius. Well, Parodius is a parody of Gradius, but... I mean, certainly when I was... See, there are 2 bosses. That's what I thought. When I was a kid, we all thought like Life Force was Gradius 2, because then Gradius 3 came out on the Super Nintendo, and the actual Gradius 2 never came out in the US, so... you know, at the very least, it's a spin-off of the same series. But, I don't know, if we're comparing Gradius 1 to Salamander 1, like, for me, it's not even a question. Gradius 1 is not a bad game by any stretch, but it's really... it's very much been surpassed by other games in the series. I would say, including Salamander. Not good. Not good. I think that this boss's name is Valgas, but not Vulgus, which is was Capcom's first. Of course, it just spawns right where he happens to be. God. Yeah, of course. Phidias Leaf says that boss looks agonizingly cheap. I'm angry just looking at the moveset and I'm not even playing. Yeah, he's... Both the bosses in this game are pretty ridiculous. Not as ridiculous. I played... I'm glad I'm not playing it on stream. I was playing King of Fighters Dream Match 99, which is the Dreamcast version of King of Fighters 98. Earlier this week, and that game really... Rugal and the final boss Rugal in that game is just... I mean, he is just incredibly cheap, and I know that that's a thing that they say about SNK fighting game bosses, but like, it's ridiculous. What? Why would it even let me throw that box in the opposite direction? Like, half of the attacks in this game automatically lock on to your opponent, but for some reason... There we go. Not good. Snarkcast says, forgot how much of a disappointment Gradius 4 was when it came out. Even the soundtrack compared weak. I would have gladly traded Gradius 4 for Gradius Gaiden. Yeah, Gradius Gaiden is way better than Gradius 4. Perfidious Leaf agrees. Gradius Gaiden is probably the best game in the Gradius. I mean, I think it is the best game in the Gradius series. This fight is a little bit easier than the previous boss fight just because it takes place in a flat-ish arena. Like, there's not as much terrain to sort of... Oh no. Dude. And then he just gets a free shot on me. What the... Come on. Furious Leaf says, can an installment truly be a Gaiden if the series has such sparse plots like the Gradius series does? I think the creator gave an interview about that, and it was because it was the first game in the series created strictly for consoles. Like, look at how much higher his defense is than mine. Just based on how much damage he takes, you know. There we go. Got him. What? Oh, man, you're going down. Okay, well, that could have gone better, I guess, but... What? And he's gonna win on time limit. Okay. Now you're done, son. I don't need the stones to finish you off. Perfidy Sleep says, are there any games you wish to feature on any one of your shows but there was too much of a language barrier? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, most popular games, I mean, a lot of the games that I'm into, it doesn't matter what language they're in. And I think with a lot of, yeah, that's right, he turns into a Resident Evil boss. That's reasonable. It's so weird. Like, this is generally like a... Cute is probably not the word, but everything has a very animated look to this game, and then, like, all of a sudden, this dude becomes a Resident Evil boss at the end. Very strange. I sincerely do not understand how I'm supposed to avoid those attacks. Like, it just seems like there is not a way to do so. like, okay. I mean, I guess in that case I used a super, but he doesn't stun lock for anything, so he can just keep doing those attacks, and I just don't... I get nothing. I don't... Perfidious Leaf says, yeah, I kind of knew the answer because the games you cover have a low emphasis on dialogue. Yeah, and like if I wanted to cover an RPG, like, which again, you know, I don't generally, because it's just, how was I supposed to avoid that? Like, I have no way of doing any sort of fast movement. There's no dash. And when you're carrying anything, you just automatically go tortoise speed, so... It's almost like Resident Evil. I whipped a Molotov at him instead of using the rocket launcher. Perfidious Leaf says, I love that spirit bomb motion he does. Yeah, I think Wang Tang is supposed to be the Goku analog here. I mean, he's toothless, so... Looks like he needed the golden dentures that Wang Tang brought him back. Alright, any thoughts on... We're going to hang out for about 40 more minutes. So if there's anything anybody wants me to play... Perfidious Leaf says... Back on the topic of stories and shoot-'em-ups, which storyline is your favorite in the genre? I mean, none of them are good. I don't think I have a favorite. Maybe like Castle Shikigami 2, because it's just so dumb. Where you're like a flying person doing it. I mean, I don't know. Hideaki Itsuono directed that game. So, I mean, I just don't really pay attention, honestly, in those titles. Like, I played through, Gigawing yesterday. I couldn't tell you what the story of that game is. You know, something about, like, alternate steampunk history and some giant medallion like descends from the heavens and it turns people crazy and ambitious and evil, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite, because I can't think of one that I actually can remember clearly enough to care. I mean, I guess I sort of like the Gradius, you know, the Bacterian Empire stuff is kind of fun, I guess, for what it is. But I mean, it's just as long as whatever it lends to the settings and the world building is more interesting to me than the actual storyline, right? Because that's what games do well. I've talked about this a couple of times on recent streams, but that's what games really do well, is world building. And world building is communicated through the visuals and the design of the stages and that kind of stuff. And that's more interesting than a plot to me when it comes to video games. Very few video game plots interest me at all, because they're usually, not always, but usually sort of shallow rip-offs of books or movies. So Perfidious Leaf says, what games do you have for Dreamcast? So I'm going to go back to the GD menu. So you're supposed to be able to soft reset back to the menu, but it doesn't work for me. Which means I just have to power cycle the Dreamcast. Which is fine. It wouldn't be fine if I was trying to use the Elgato software to run this stream. But since OBS is much nicer about equipment getting disconnected, it's not a problem. So this is going to take us back to the GD menu, and so this is what we've got here. There's about 44 games total, I think, or 43, because the GD menu takes up a slot. Because the way the thing works is the GDMU, it loads the first disk image in its file. So by default, what you typically do is put the GD menu, this utility, as the first thing, because otherwise there's a button on it. You'd have to open the tray and press the button through everything. So I have 40 some games on here. That'd be a hassle if you had like the whole library loaded on here, which I think will fit because I have a 128 gig card. Maybe not the whole, probably not the whole library, but any game that I would ever want to be on here. But you know, you'd have to press this button inside the tray 50 times to get to whatever game you want to play. So. Perfidious Leaf quotes John Carmack with story in a game is like story in a porn movie. It's expected to be there, but it's not that important. I tend to agree with that. There are a couple that I think are good, but generally, you know, I'm not in love with them. So that's the game list. I kind of shuffled through it here. I'll give everybody a second for the stream to catch up. Left to my own devices, I'm kind of feeling maybe some Tony Hawk, but you know, whatever anybody wants to do. Some of these disc images are really weird too. Like I wonder where these came from. Like who decided? Because I'm almost positive that's not what the CD for Tony Hawk 2 for the Dreamcast looks like. Like some of them it is, right? There's, I think actually Power Stone was like that is actually the Japanese disc image for Power Stone, which is weird because this is the US version, but whatever. But some of these, and some of them are upside down. Like, I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I think left to my own devices, I would go with, I love that. See, that, I'm almost positive that is not, that might be the cover for Toucan Rat Student 4. Yeah, see, like, that's kind of the cover. But it ain't the disc. So that's what the disc looks like for Toucan Retsuden 4. So it's sort of the cover, but not really, because the cover actually has... that's Chono and... I'm not sure who that is, besides Chono, but... you know, so that image is not this image because that's just fire. It's not Chono, and it's not the disc image. So like, where did that come from? Who's like, that's what it's got to be, man. That's what we got to put there. Boy, I really should know who that is, but I'm just like drawing a blank here. Also, this is not a 2-disc game, but it's got a 2-disc cover because it has a big, thick move list book in here. Anyways. Perfidious Leaf mentions an SNDG for Doom, and Snarkcast says maybe keep it simple for 16. But I've wanted to do Doom, but yeah, it would be real long. So I'm not seeing any recommendations for what to play in the chats. Like I said, if left for my own devices, I think I'm going to do some Tony Hawk 2. And we'll do that for about a half hour, and then we're going to call it a stream. So... it's a shame Tony Hawk 3 never made it to the Dreamcast. Tony Hawk 3... yeah, Treyarch did the ports, the Dreamcast ports for Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Who you may know now as the people largely responsible for Call of Duty. So I haven't unlocked anything in this version of Tony Hawk 2, so I can't play as Spider-Man. Unless there's a code. Maybe there's a code. Somebody knows the code and wants me to play as Spider-Man. Hook me up with that code. There probably is a code. The videos look decent on this. Like, they look better if you watch the ECW episode of Same Name Different Game. Like, they look better than like a PS1 video, but still kind of rough. Alright, I like skate videos just as much as the next guy, but let's move it on. Let's go with the Muska. I can't afford to buy stats or tricks or anything, so we're just gonna start. Yep, and I have to start at the hangar. That's all good. Have aged really well. The first one you can't manual, so it's like a little weird, but like I think 2 and 3 is my favorite of the Tony Hawk series. It's just eminently playable, right? And then I liked the Tony Hawk Underground games, and then after that there was a sharp drop off with, I think, Tony Hawk Project 8 was the one after Thug 2. And that was bad. And then they never recovered. But oof. Oh, brother, no. I'm animal. This is a series that I've wanted to do on the show. Oops, biffed that manual. I'm out of practice, as you can probably tell. So rope with the beats and the rhymes is so dope. Yeah, I've wanted to do a game in this series for a while, and I just haven't had space in the production, essentially. Like, there are extra life requests and all that good stuff, and so it's just like... and then it turns into like, which one do you do? This is also what I'm like least familiar with. Actually, this one I played, this is going to sound so weird, I played more than anything, I played the Game Boy Advance version of Tony Hawk 2. Because it was one of the earliest GBA games, and I was playing a lot of GBA because I had one, and I wanted games where I was like Fire Pro, Super Dodgeball, Castlevania Circle of the Moon, and Tony Hawk. And so I played, and the level designs are like pretty faithful. The music, less so. But the level designs are, that was okay. Not what I was going for there, but that's fine. Level designs are pretty faithful. Come on, I landed that. The level designs are pretty faithful in the GBA version, believe it or not. Oh God, that was going to be a good one too. I'm just wiping out all over the place. I used to be good at these games, I promise. It's kind of a muscle memory thing. Like once you, like if I had like an hour or, you know, whatever, 2 to play, like I'd probably be back into it pretty quickly. See, I thought there was a way to start that helicopter by like grinding on the prop, but apparently either I had to do something else or I've forgotten how to do it. Boy, there's a bunch of stuff going on here. Okay. Freddy Sleeve says apparently there's a cheat for this game that gives all cheats. Okay. Let's get my correct initials in here. Alright. Hold L, then press A, X, Y, up, down, left, up, X, Y, A, Y, B, A, Y, B. Then select end run. Oh, there you go. Okay. Spider-Man. There we go. That's all I really wanted. Moon physics. That's kind of ridiculous. Alright, well, I'm going through all these things I unlocked. Let's see here. Snarkcast says there's no code to play Spider-Man. Apparently there's code to play Spider-Man. American Wasteland was after Thug 2. That's right. American Wasteland, which was also not good. And then Project 8. And then the Ride Shred games. Those were terrible. Freddy Sleep says this port really takes advantage of the improved graphics. Yep. There are most games that were on the PlayStation and the Dreamcast look better on the if I go to level select, can I change to Spider-Man, or do I have to? No, I'm still fight back though. Yeah, most games, if a game was on the PS1 and the Dreamcast. It pretty much universally looks better on the PS1. Graffiti Sleeve says, what are the hardest games you have and haven't beaten? Oh, I mean, Holy Diver takes that title very, very easily. But I don't have the turpentine to clean what you have soiled. These soundtracks in these games are just so good. There's a move that he has where he kicks the board and then like pulls it back with a web, and I can't remember how to do it. And there's not a move list in here. But it's dope, and I wish I could remember how to do it. Not like that. Ooh. Like it's called what? I think it's called Whatever a Spider Can. Although he was in Tony Hawk 3 as well, and maybe that's what I'm thinking. Or was he? I know for sure that Wolverine was. I don't remember Spider-Man. Graffiti Sleeve says, did you beat Holy Diver or not? Nope, never beaten Holy Diver. Spend some cash. Never beaten Holy Diver. Specials. Here we go. Oh, you do have to buy the specials. Spidey Grind. Oh, already signed to left. Okay. Okay. Left, right, X, and down at B are our Spidey moves. Forward to trying it since everyone who approaches that game seems to end up with PTSD about it. Yeah, man, that game is not messing around. Now, see, there I did the thing, but I didn't land it, so. You don't get a balance meter for lip tricks in this game, which is weird. Snarkcast says I never even touched it. Maybe I'll add it to the hack collection. Yeah, I mean, if you have a way of playing it, I would recommend playing it. I used to be good at these games, I swear. What? Previously says, what are your thoughts on Bloodstained? I streamed it about a week and a half ago, so if you want my full thoughts, I would recommend watching that stream. But the short answer is I like it quite a bit. There it is. There we go. Now we're doing the Spider-Man tricks. Now see, that's a little closer to more like it. Still came in dead last, but the secret to this game is the grinds are, you can combo up grinds way more easily than air tricks, so finding good places to grind is sort of the way to do it. Let's go to the chopper drop. Right in the water. Don't know. I don't love the way it does lip tricks in this game. Didn't have enough speed to pull that one off. Oh, that would have been some nice points. Let's go to skate heaven, man. I think moon physics are on by default here. I don't remember. Didn't have enough speed to pull that off. Profidiously asked if I've ever played Valkyrie No Densets. That's a Namco game. It's like a vertically scrolling shooter, right? If I'm not mistaken. If that's the correct thing, then yes, I've played a little bit of it. But not enough to have a solid opinion. Yeah, it just takes some getting used to, like, readjusting to the controls in these games. And, like, I'm not even really sure why I fell down there. Eventually, I don't remember if it's not until Thug, but one of the games you can spring off the wall, like you can wall bounce, sorta. And once you can do that, like you can sort of grind into Like you can grind into where there's a wall, which you normally would not be able to do. And bounce back and then grind in the opposite direction. Like keep your grind going. Come on. Problem with putting in that code is it cleared out all the level goals, so now there's like nothing to do. And I can't even read what they were, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think that resets when I, like if I decided I would, well I guess I could always delete the save, it's not like I did much. Yeah, see, this is also of the original series. This is the one that I spent the least amount of time with. Alright, well, thanks for hanging out, folks. That was the Patreon stream for June. Glad to see a couple people hanging out, chatting away. There will, of course, be one for July. The new same name, or the new Obscure Games is available now for Patreon folks. It will be available forever if you're watching this on an archive and you are not a Patreon. You can get early access to those videos and check out these streams as they happen. If you go to patreon.com/onthestick and give $1 per video, you can check out these streams as they happen. And yeah, that's about it. But the latest Obscure Games on Operation C as part of the Game Boys this summer is out. I should have been streaming Game Boy games really now that I think about it, but next time I suppose. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next month. Oh, and if you didn't check out the Contra charity stream that happened on Saturday, there's a playlist on the channel. It's 12 hours of me playing Contra games. You should check that out if you haven't. And we will see you next time.